Happy Wednesday, everybody. Sorry for the early video, but with the holiday of Sukkot tomorrow and Friday, I didn't want to miss this week's video. So today is October 16th, 2024, and this is your Wednesday planning video. I want to hit on a few items today. Let's start with the new October facts. It is time to pay the piper. In case you have your student loan, you are now at the end of your 1-year grace period for the restart. The extra year was there to help people ease back into payments after the COVID pause. Whoa, wow, when was the last time you used that word? Let's jump into those pesky, but as we know, so important safeguards about fraud on your accounts. I have to imagine that I'm not the only one that's bothered by the annoying verification emails or the text that you have to do to simply get access to your own accounts. Now, let's be sure there are a lot of safety and security measures we take that we put up with them that on a whole annoy us until they protect us. Now, then we are happy with them. If you've ever gotten a notification of someone accessing your account from far off land, you know that it's usually time to change your password and that you should reset your level of annoyance, as that just kept someone out of your account. Now, I know that most of you know, like me, that as annoying as these things are, they can be necessary, and usually they are. It reminds me of the old complaints about wearing seatbelts. If you're old enough, you know that people used to complain all the time about wearing seatbelts. Too constricting, messes up my clothes, takes too long, you name it. So much that they actually passed laws against driving without seatbelts, and they gave tickets. Now, it's certainly the exception and not the rule to see someone in a car without a seatbelt on. Clearly, seatbelts save lives. And here we go. So does two-step verification. Well, maybe not lives in the physical sense, but certainly financial lives. There can be hundreds of examples, but let me talk about identity theft that can happen, and we'll talk about a few ways to fight against it. There are new ways every day, and our AI, artificial intelligence, is only making the playing field harder to navigate. I want to tell you about a South Carolina couple that I recently read about that bought a retirement property in Boston. They were going to build on it and retire there. Maybe they forgot about the Boston winters versus South Carolina summers, but that's a conversation for a different time. When the quarterly tax bill didn't come, they called about the property and they found out that it was no longer theirs. A quick recap: this was identity fraud and mortgage fraud. Someone was able to use their personally identifiable information, possibly obtained on the dark web. The fraudsters then used fake documents and online technology to steal their identity and ultimately sell the property illegally. After their investigation, the family found out that someone pretending to be the wife of this couple contacted a local real estate agent to sell the property. After shortlisting it, it was sold for $525,000, nearly 50% of its actual value. To close the deal, the scammer sent fraudulent documents to the real estate agent, including scans of fake South Carolina driver's license and a passport allegedly belonging to the wife here. With the transaction complete, the sales money was wired to a bank account here in the States before it was sent overseas. Now a home is actually being built on that property, leaving the South Carolina family working with an attorney to determine the best way to get their home back and what to do with the home that's being built on it. How do we fight things like this? It all comes down to a lesson that I fear too many people do not pay attention to. Protect your private information. It's called private for a reason. Today, we live in an age where people will post what they had for dinner on social media. Go beyond that. I'm not sure about that South Carolina couple, but I've seen more than one person post about a vacation house, lake house, or even retirement property on social media. This can easily turn into a target. Same thing about those great check-in at the airport. As I'm about to go, you name the far-off location. This might as well scream to go to my house and break in if you can. Private information should be safeguarded at all costs. So I don't want to belabor this, but this is a big deal. It certainly is worth the extra text entry that a security code. The key to this that security code. The key to this is expectations. We're no longer in the time where we can walk up to a line and right away present our online ticket, for example. It may take an extra security code to show that. So just prepare for it. Don't put yourself in the situation where you need to do that secondary verification while everyone is waiting for you outside the concert or the Broadway show. There are also other ways to be ready or avoid some of that with things like certain apps that will hold photos of what you need to show, or even membership programs that will get you through using your eyes or fingerprints. I want to wrap this up with a few practical ideas that will help you fight this, and this is a big battle, so I will suggest being vigilant. It's a big deal, and regardless of my own annoyance with it, it is worth those extra few seconds. In this case, seconds do count for your protection. Let's start at the top. Guard your online information. Be careful when you get downloads, attachments, or texts that you don't know. Keep your computer software, security software up to date. Next, monitor your accounts. This is something I talk a lot about on the budgeting and financial management side, but this is another reason to pay attention to the charges on your accounts and the money moving out or into them. Shred your documents. This is a big deal. We may think dumpster diving is an old thing, but you can imagine that in certain places that are likely to have personal information, one man's trash really is another man's treasure. Okay, be careful who you give your information to, and don't do it via email. Use your voice. As you probably know, we require verbal approval on everything, and that is just to protect against this very thing. So watch who's asking and be careful who gets your personal information. Finally, your credit report. This is something that most credit cards are monitoring for you anyway, so be sure you watch. It'll already be in process, but once it hits your credit report, you'll know that there's a problem. Sign up for some monitoring and talk to your credit card companies or banks and ask them for your help. You can even lock your credit sometimes, and that requires a lot of extra steps to add anything under your name. Just another form of protection. Okay, that's the thoughts for the day. Not uplifting, I'm sorry, but I think the pain up front will be well worth it. I remind you, this is not a one and done thing. This is a constant in our world. Sorry, there are some things that come along with 2024 we may not like as much, and this one is only getting worse. Sorry, but I don't see an end in sight. More tools and more ideas to combat it. There will be a Monday market update. Then next week, another Wednesday planning video, so keep an eye out. Until then, have a great holiday if you're celebrating. Overall, have a great rest of the week and the weekend.